Hello and welcome back. This is Greg French. Today we're going to be covering Chapter 4, Part 4, Form Factors and Power Supplies as part of our A+ Computer Repair Series. Troubleshooting the electrical system. Problems can occur before or after a boot. Problems can be consistent or inconsistent. They can be intermittent, which makes them even more of a problem. Possible symptoms of electrical equipment. The PC appears dead, no life. The PC sometimes halts during the booting process. Error codes or beeps occur during booting. You smell burnt parts or odors. Check the simple things first. Example, determine whether all switches are on. Also see if it's plugged in. Problems with external power. Brownout, reduced current may create issues. Check out other devices using the same circuit. Remove other devices to see if voltage increases. Dealing with intermittent errors caused by noise. Use a line monitor to monitor the condition of your voltage coming in. Problems with loose internal connections can cause the system to appear dead or reboot itself. Troubleshooting tasks. Remove the cover of the case. Check all power connections. Check cables linking power supply to the motherboard. Check cables linking power supply to the drives. Here you see a connection for soft power. For an ATX or BTX power supply, the remote switch wire must be connected to the motherboard before power will come on. This is our soft power connection to the front of the computer. Problems that come and go. Intermittent symptoms indicating a post-boot problem. The computer stops or hangs or reboots for no reason. Memory errors appear intermittently. Data is written incorrectly to the hard drive. Keyboard stops working at odd times. Motherboard fails or is damaged. Power supply overheats and becomes hot to the touch. Power supply fan becomes very noisy or stops. Intermittent problems are often difficult to solve. Problems with an inadequate power supply. Power supply may not meet needs of new devices. Testing for an adequate power supply. Make all devices in the system work at the same time. Turn everything on. Example, copy files from one drive to another drive or an older drive. Simple solutions, upgrade to a higher power supply. I've had a lot of problems with power supplies lately. I suggest going to a larger power supply is a good solution. Calculating total wattage needed by system. Multiply volts in circuit by amps required for the device to get the power. Add all these together, add all products to determine the total wattage. Power supply ranges 200 watts to 600 watts. I would use a 600 as a minimum and go higher for your wattage. Problems with power supplies, boards or drives. Issues, inadequate or faulty power supply. Components drawing power might be bad. Problems caused, system hangs or gives intermittent errors. System reboots or does not boot at all. I've seen computers that look like they're going to come on. It looks like we got power, but it just won't start. And that sometimes is a power supply problem. Actions to take. Isolate and remove any faulty expansion cards. Upgrade or switch the power supply. Test voltage, output, and power supply with a multimeter. Problems with the power supply fan. Defective fans usually hum before they stop working. Bearings are going out. They're getting clogged with dust. Response to diagnose of defective. Replace the fan or the entire power supply. If replacement does not work, suspect another short. Do not operate a PC if the fan does not work. Computers will overheat and damage the circuit boards. Indirect source of fan problems. Shorts in the drives, motherboard, expansion cards. Power problems with the motherboard. Bad contacts between the board components and the chassis. Could have a short between the motherboard and the chassis. Short can cause serious damage to the motherboard. Check for missing or extra standoff space or something might be loose and shorting something. Shorts in the circuit on the motherboard. Look for damage to the bottom of the motherboard. Look for burned out capacitors. Frayed wires on connections can also cause shorts. Test hard drive cables connected to the motherboard. Problems with overheating cause intermittent problems also. May also cause the system to reboot or not boot. Temperatures in the case should not exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. If they do, you'll find the computer shuts down or starts operating erratically. Some problems and solutions. Remove dust from the power supply. Vents and heat sinks. Secure cables, cords with tie wraps. Install another exhaust fan on the rear of the case. Install a fan and expansion slots next to the video cards. The video cards put off a lot of heat. Replace components that is damaged. Install one exhaust fan. We're installing a second exhaust fan on the back of the case to help pull air through, keeping things a little bit cooler. Replacing the power supply. The power supply is a field replacement unit, FRU, common term used on tests. What's an FRU? One of the items could be a power supply that we could replace. Criteria for replacement power supply to meet: use the connect form factor, adequately rate the power supply in watts, has all power connections needed for your system. Before replacing power supply, test new device. Connect components to the new power supply. Turn on PC and observe whether the problem is solved. If problem solved, perform the replacement procedure. Summary, form factor. We talked about the form factors, ATX being the most common. BTX to soon replace that. ATX has been around for about 10 years, a little bit longer than 10 years, so we don't upgrade the form factors that often. Specifies the size, shape, feature, and device. Motherboard, power supply, and case share the same form factor, again, such as ATX. 3 types of cases: desktop, tower, and notebooks. Quantities that characterize electricity. We got the voltage, the current, the resistance, and the power. Current flows from hot to neutral. Excess current escapes through grounds. Summary continued. AC supplied by a power station is transformed and rectified before flowing into PC. We got to have DC. Major components in the circuit board: transistors, capacitors, diodes, resistors. Electrical threats: ESD, EMI, uneven current flow, sudden power surges or spikes. Energy Star is our standard to promote energy conservation. Very important. PCs comply with the Energy Star standards by enabling devices to enter into a power down or sleep mode. Activities. What problems might you experience with a bad power supply? I want you to research that, discuss that. Labs 4.1, find documentation on the internet. And then 4.5, choose the right power supply. I want you to explain to me why you would choose the power supply that you're going to choose. There's some review questions that you need to answer and turn in to me. Well, thank you very much. That's the end of Chapter 4.